Hi, everyone. Welcome to this month's episode of Rebecca and Rebecca. My name is Rebecca Yager, and my partner in books is Rebecca Reed. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Becky, Rebecca, whatever.
That's how we tell each other apart. It's okay.
Yeah.
So, anyway, today we are reviewing a book. We always love to talk books, and we are ready for Christmas. 'Tis the season, right? And so we wanted to do this is from Deborah Rainey, and it's Gifts of the Season, and it's two novellas. A historical novella and a contemporary one. So that was a little bit new and different for us. I don't think we've done novellas, but let me do a quick read of what these two stories are about, and then we can discuss them. So, the historical is inspired by a family Christmas tradition of Deb Rainey's family. It's called Circle of Blessings, and it's set in the Dakota Territory of 1864. Stella Bradford is determined to win the love of James Collingwood, her English professor at the university where Stella is studying to be an architect. Can you imagine that in 1864? That's awesome. But the object of Stella's affection hides a dark secret from his past. And even if Stella could capture James's attention, she is certain that her father would not approve of the match. But neither James nor Stella has an inkling that his secret is woven into her own past in a way that will ultimately bring blessing to them both, if only he dares to reveal it. So that's the historical. Do we want to talk about that first, and then we can hit the
Yeah, we can do
contemporary?
that.
I mean, so we don't get them messed up. Anyway, Circle of Blessings, and again, Stella and James. I liked again. She's studying to be an architect and going to university, which probably I don't know how her father really felt about that because he had a tight grip on his family.
hmm Yeah, he was very I don't want to say controlling. He was very protective, I think is a
Mm,
better way to
that's a
put
better
it.
word.
He and I also, in his way, he was very protective, but yet he still doted on his daughter
Mm,
because if he didn't, like he would have never let her go to university at all, I feel like. And I think, her mother only kind of puts her word in when it's really important. And she kind of said something that Stella should go to university. And
right.
so, but yes, architecture, I don't know that he necessarily cared what she studied, but I think he also thought it was a strange, a strange thing for her to be doing. They mention it a few times in the story that, a lot of people kind of look at her weird when she says that's what she's studying. But hey, it's what she's always loved and it's what she wanted to do, so
Yeah,
that's what
she
she's
had a
studying.
she had a passion for it, and I like that in both these stories, and we'll discuss this in the second one too. That the main characters are balancing their own desires with trying to be with the needs of their family, or trying to be a good daughter, or family focused as well. And it can be a fine line to walk every once in a while.
Yeah, I
So.
think Stella struggles with that quite a bit. She does want to be, because it is the 1800s. So as progressive as, the university part and the architect and all of that is, she is still in the 1800s and very much a woman, unmarried, so under her father's authority, and
Mhm.
she has to work at that. It's not natural for her to be subservient, or I don't know if subservient's the right word either, but she's not naturally like just going to agree with what she's told to do, so to
She
speak.
might have a little bit of a rebellious streak, maybe.
Yeah, and they contrast her with the sister who is,
Yeah.
the perfect child, so to speak. Although she's not perfect, and they have a really good relationship, Stella and her sister, but but her sister isn't like Stella. She's more content to do the things that are
Mm.
considered to be more appropriate at that time for women. Um,
Traditional.
Traditional,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
And that is okay because she's passionate about those things
Mhm.
and she's doing those things. And Stella's passionate about other things and pursuing that. And her family is progressive enough that that's they're allowing that to happen. But that doesn't mean she's still not under authority of her father. And so sometimes that clashes a little bit with Stella's own desires and
Right.
wanting her freedom. She's chafing a bit under that authority.
Yeah, very, very well put. But I like that Deb, as the author, is still it's still a loving family,
It
but
is.
it's a traditional family, and
Yeah.
you're right. Stella is chafing a little bit against some of the traditions and the norms of the 1800s. So I think Deb draws her really well. But on to James. Now, James's story and his past, you know, I don't know, he's intriguing. Talk about an
Yeah.
arc in a novella. I mean,
Yeah.
he, from the first time the reader meets him to, when he meets Stella, that's even a big change. And then moving on from there. So,
Yes. And I just love, I mean, I think Deb's good at this. She does this in other books too. I've seen her do it in longer stories, but she just is really good at bringing things back full circle, and this story, if you like those types of stories where things come full circle and everything ties together, this is one of those
yeah.
kinds of stories. And the tradition that this family has is really awesome. I mean, and other families I've heard doing similar types of things, but this story, the family goes out to eat every Christmas, and whoever their server is, they give them a large amount of cash for the time.
Mhm. Mhm.
Significant. And they don't know at the time, when they go, who it's going to be. They trust that God's going to bring the person that needs it the most to their table, and they give them an envelope with their name on it and the money inside, and they leave and they're anonymous. And it's a fantastic
Mhm.
tradition. It makes me want to do it, actually. I think
It
it's kind
does.
of a really unique way to bless someone. Um, and so the recipients then are just blessed by this donation from this family that they don't even know. And I
Yeah.
think it's cool, it's just it was a really neat thing. And I loved, the ending. Obviously, we're not going to tell you what that is. You'll have to read it yourself. However, it's amazing. It's a really good ending. And
It's a cool
I
ending. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, 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 enjoyed this story, and but I didn't even say this at the beginning, but true confessions here. I'm not a big novella reader, so this was, and I'm really glad that we chose two novellas because I actually really enjoyed it, and I really liked that there was an historical one and the contemporary one on
I
this.
know
So,
I kind of like the concept of what Deb did with this novel, putting these two novellas and pairing them together. I think it's kind of a neat thing, and
mhm,
it isn't something you see all the time. So, with the different genres like that, it tends, you see anthologies that are all kind of one genre a lot, but this one is, has the two, and it's really kind of cool to see.
yeah. She did that. These were both pre-published, I should tell,
Mhm.
both these stories in other collections. But you're right, for her to put these together and repackage them and to give a taste of historical and a taste of contemporary was really cool. And it is
Brilliant, brilliant management on somebody. That household's full of brilliance anyway.
it,
So,
it is. Deb and her husband, who I'm sure did the cover art for
yeah,
it,
I
knowing
sure.
this. We'll look at that again, but I'm pretty sure her husband did that because he's quite a good artist from there. So let's because but the stories kind of tie in together. If you caught that, there is a reference to Stella in the contemporary story. So let me read the description of the contemporary one, and then we could talk more. The contemporary one is Measured with Love, and it's a set in Southeast Missouri. Benji Gabriel, and that's a girl, Benji. Gabriel believes the chef's position she's just taking at an award winning bed and breakfast is temporary, only a stepping stone to greater things. The B&B's owner, Trevor Key, thinks the same, and given the haughty attitude of his new chef, that's fine with him. Will 5 months be long enough for them to figure out what they've been longing for, praying for, is right beneath their noses? Um, you and I both really like the contemporary one, Measured with Love. It was a
Yeah.
cute story.
Yes. I mean I did like the historical, but I will say that the contemporary was my favorite. Um and not because I dislike historical stories either. It was just I don't know. There's something about this um interaction between Benji and Trevor that I just really liked. And Benji's quite something. Anyway.
She's a little bit feisty.
She is. She's really feisty and
In a good
um
way. In a good way.
yeah, and it's I think I liked the fact that she's she's kind of playing both edges of her like sides of the coin, so to speak, because she personally just wants to be a chef and specifically at this particular inn. And there's a reason for that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But she also is pacifying her mother by going to college.
Knowledge. Mhm.
Okay,
And,
so
and again, balancing the desires of the family with
mhm,
their own dreams. That's a theme that ran through both stories. So,
yes. And um it just is really fun, to watch how the contrast between her life, at the inn and how she is, how pepped up she is and how energetic and how she just kind of jumps right in and wants to like really do well,
mhm.
versus kind of her trudging to classes, and it's like, sort of uh pushing herself to even like do anything
Yeah.
with that. Um, so I kind of relate because when I graduated from high school, I did not want to go to college, and everybody was like, you have to go to college," because that was in the era where everyone had to go to college.
Right.
And
Right.
so I'm like, I don't want to go to college. I want to do this, then that. And they're all like, no, 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 you have to go to. So I did that too. I did what everybody wanted me to do and I went to college. But I mean, I'm glad I did now. But like I understand. I get where Benji is coming from.
Oh, so you really could relate to Benji
I
with
could
the,
totally relate to her. Yes.
forcing herself to go to class and try to pay attention to what economics was
I
one of
think
the
so.
classes they
I
talked
can't
about.
remember.
Oh, I can imagine. Um, now, Trevor is also somewhat reluctant. I mean, he has what he loves to do, and then he's reluctantly doing something else. And,
Yeah, he has
he's,
that too. And because he's an artist. He won't say that. He wouldn't admit it, but that's what Benji calls him in the book too. And he's an artist with wood. So
mhm,
he's a woodworker. He does have a woodworking shop out behind the inn. So he is doing that, pursuing that as well. But his main job is he purchased the inn off of his father. Yes.
mhm.
Yes. And
Uh, no, from his mother, because his father disapproves that he
I
has
can't
the in.
remember now exactly. You guys
Oh,
are gonna
shame
have to
on
read this
us.
book
We've
and tell
lost a
us how this
detail. Hang
works
on.
because
Yeah.
uh I know his parents
Are not
maybe
together, and his
they're
father is
not.
very disapproving of him.
Yes.
His father
They're not
really.
together. Yeah. And yeah, and his dad did not want him to purchase it. He thought it was the most ridiculous thing. His mother is the one
Mhm.
that liked the inn and she wanted to run it and keep it going. Um,
Right,
and
right.
his father was like, "This is dumb. It's a money pit. You're never gonna get anywhere with it." But he did it for her to like keep the
Mhm.
traditions good. Plus, he needed steady income
Mhm.
because the woodworking, which is what he wants to do, isn't bringing in enough money for him to survive on. So he
Right,
did have to do
right,
something else. Um,
right.
and yeah, so he kind of purchased, but inherited like all the things that were in the inn when his parents ran it before.
Right.
So you want to talk about Stella and why she wants to be chef at this particular inn because there's
Benji,
oh
Stella,
Benji. Oh my gosh.
Benji.
Benji, not Stella. I'm sorry, Stella. Your story's over. Benji.
But did you notice that Deb mentioned Stella really
Oh,
briefly
no, I
in
missed it. You have
Benji's story?
I
Oh,
did miss it.
because Benji was talking about, she's very sentimental about her aunt
Mhm.
and the inn, and she has childhood memories of this particular inn,
Yeah.
which is, I don't think that's giving anything away. But she was talking about the strength of her ancestors and people past, and on a brief list, Stella's name is mentioned. So Benji's actually related to Stella. Do I need to
Well,
find
I
that
had
in the book?
figured out that there was some sort of, there was definitely a connection anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
you see that, and I don't think that's giving anything away either, because she was
No,
connected through was it her aunt that took her grandmother?
her aunt, I think.
Aunt? Well, a relative.
Shema,
Oh no,
Deb, where are you? Deb's gonna have to. All right.
she's gonna have to, yeah. I read this, I promise.
We both did.
It's just been a while ago. And I didn't write down enough notes apparently.
Apparently
No,
I
it
did.
was her grandmother. I'm pretty sure. Her
All
grandmother, I
right,
do have that written
I'm
down. It
gonna look while
says
you
her
talk.
grandmother took her for tea. That's why she wants to, because
Why
her
did I
grandmother,
think it was her aunt?
no, I don't know. But it says, my notes say her grandmother took her for tea.
Oh, okay. Sorry, then it's
So
my bad.
that's okay. I didn't really remember either. I had to look it back up. But her grandmother took her for tea on, it was a tradition. They have this special tea that they
Right.
do for the holidays at this inn. And her grandmother would purchase tickets, and they went several times to this tea at this inn. So she has this very particular fondness for this particular inn
She
because of
does.
that connection to her grandmother and that um the teas that they would go to
Right.
together. So that's where the like psychological, emotional connection to the inn
Mhm.
comes from. That's why this is her dream job and why she really wants it. And the only reason she has it is because there's the regular chef is on maternity leave. That's why it's temporary.
Right.
And so that's where the premise comes in that, it's only temporary, but she's still thrilled to death that she's gonna, even for a short time, that she can, be this chef that she's looked forward to doing and dreamed about and all of that. So,
Right. Because it is
um,
a very special place for Benji and
mhm.
grandmother and relatives. Tease. Sorry.
Yeah. And
Apparently, I
she,
didn't take good notes either.
and she, I think the thing that I thought was really cool about it was that, she goes in. And she has her own ideas about how she wants to set everything up. And so, but she's very polite about it. She asks, is it okay if I rearrange things and whatnot? And Trevor, he's like, I don't care, just make sure you know where to put it back. Because he's still planning on his regular chef coming back. And there's, this temporary. So make sure, do whatever you want, but and then they have recipes that they use all the time.
I was
And
just thinking about the recipes that she
yeah.
had to use the ends recipe when she's itching to try her own stuff. So
Right.
again, there's a lot of balancing in both these
Mhm.
stories. The needs of, the family with their own, or the needs of the inn, traditions of the inn, as to opposed to what Benji wants to bring into it. Um,
Yes. And then Trevor has that too, kind of, because this was his mother's place. So all of like the decorations and the
yeah.
decor and all of that is his mother's. So there's like, that how much do you change? How much do you keep the same? Because, and of course, Benji didn't realize all of the duties that were involved in being the chef at this end, because it wasn't just the chef. She also helped do a multitude of other things that she didn't think she would be any good at. And that's kind of an interesting part of her story arc is that, sometimes we're put into positions where we have to go outside of our comfort zone and do things that we don't think we're any good at, and we find out we're actually not so bad at them. And that's
That's
kind of
why
what
we
happened
grow.
here.
Yeah.
hmm And that was really cool because I think that's a common thing. People are, I know I am too, is like new things scare me. And, you have to push yourself into those situations a lot of the time, and make yourself try them at least. to see, because sometimes you're really good at things. I do that with my track kids all the time. It's like they'll be like, "Oh, I can't run, oh my gosh, I can't run a lap in a race. Are you kidding?" Or I can't run, 2 laps in a race, or I can't do this, I can't do that. And I'll be like, "Okay, that's fine." And then later I'll be like, "Hey, this person is, they have to do this other thing, and I really need somebody to do this. You think you can do it once?" And they'll say, "Oh, one time, I'll do it one time." And then they'll find out they're really super good at it. Not always, but a lot of times they'll find out they're really super good at it. And they'll be like, "I guess I should have been doing this all the time." And I'm like, So,
Things we learn, making, where God leads us and leads these characters too. He has his own path when you feel like, God, what are you doing? I don't understand. Why am I here? Why are things so hard?
mm,
Or
yeah,
the, or the new challenges. So
that's true. Yes, very true. And there are challenges in this story. It's not just all like eating and decorating. So,
no, and they have to yeah, learn some things and learn to trust each other, which sometimes, you get a bias against people
mhm,
if they don't start out well, and then as things start to shift, you're even nervous about shifting your views on things.
yeah. Yeah,
So
there's a lot of really cool, I hesitate to say lessons because that sounds so like, why do we want to, I don't want to read a book and learn lessons, but in a sense, it's like life lessons, like little truthlets that are scattered throughout these stories that um, really bring those stories up to a higher level. It's not just entertainment, but it's more than that. You can be nourished while you read these stories too. So,
right. Well, I think the life lessons are things that we can all relate to. You can pick out when are things and you're going to understand the nugget, or kind of, I don't know, new ways of looking at things, which I always like
yeah.
as well. So anyway, these were two very fun reads. Get you in the holiday spirit.
And quick, because they are novellas. So,
Mhm.
and there's 2 of them. So, like, you get the book and you don't have to read the whole book at once. You can read one novella, and then you can go do Christmas shopping, and then you can read the other one.
Mhm.
So,
And yeah,
very
in fact,
flexible.
the second one, talking about the decorations and stuff, will definitely get you in the mood to decorate your house as
Hmm.
well, as they're talking about the decorations for the inn. Um, so it's really fun. Anyway, Gifts of the Season by Deborah Rainey. Once you read any Deborah Rainey book, you're going to want to read more. I think she's a fabulous author, and I've known Deb for a long time too, True Confessions. And she's a wonderful person, and her heart is always on the pages um,
Hmm.
of her stories. So if you need an uplifting um, read, pick it up. And again, it's quick. And pick your historical, pick your contemporary, and enjoy it. So, Gifts of the Season by Deborah Rainey. This was released last year, but hey, it's the holidays. It's always good to read a good holiday story. Um, Anytime, actually. We're looking forward to talking to Deb here in a couple of weeks. So you'll have to come back, and I'm sure, gosh, I want to hear more about her writing process and how
Yes.
she crafts these.
Yes, because she's amazing. I mean, she has a lot of variety in her stories too. And it'll be fun to listen to her process. We always enjoy learning more about writing processes, but the behind the scenes kinds of things that are always fascinating, and just about her life. She's moved a couple times here recently and has some new experiences too for us to share, and it'll be
To
it'll be great.
Yeah, no, family is everything to her, and their grandkids are a huge part of their lives, her and her husband. So anyway, it's Gifts of the Season. We're just going to do a blatant plug here. Read it, get in the holiday spirit, enjoy just sweet stories.
I
Good.
could You could decorate with this book.
There you go. Oh yeah. There you
Stick it
go.
on a shelf, and there you go. You've got
It'll look Christmassy on your shelf. So pick
yep.
it up if you haven't. It is out now, obviously, and we will look forward to talking to Deb Rainey next time. So we hope you will join us. Find us on Instagram, on Facebook, our previous videos are on YouTube and on Spotify and iHeart, wherever you want to view or listen to any of our interviews or discussions. So, all right. Anything else, Rebecca?
I'll just try to make sure you subscribe. You won't miss any episodes. And if you have anything you want to comment, that'd be great. We'd love to connect with everybody too. So we'll
Sure
see you in a
will.
couple weeks.
Yeah, website, rebeccaandrebecca.com.
Yes.
If you want to start
Yes.
there.
Yes, that has all the links too. So you don't have to go
Yes,
to a bunch of places. Just go to rebeccaandrebecca.com. You'll have everything you need there.
there you go. Well, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.